Good morning. I am Professor Ajay Joshi, and today we will discuss Introduction to Solidification and Phase Diagram. So first, some important terms. So what is phase? It is defined as a finite volume in a physical system within which the properties are uniformly constant, that is, do not experience any abrupt changes in passing from one point in the volume to another point. So to simplify, I will take example. So this is my a container. Okay, this is container. Which has finite volume. Okay, it has finite volume. Okay, and if I take a system of, for example, these are my gas particle. Okay, so this is the finite volume physical system. This is my physical system. Okay, within which the properties are uniformly constant. If it is gas properties, for example, this is my first particle, this is particle, and this is also particle. I have taken out and observed properties of these 3 points 1, 2 and 3, and if I see the properties are same of point 1, 2 and 3, then I will say the phase of this system is uniform or constant. Means this gas is of single phase or one phase. Okay, the gas has only one phase or single phase. So this is nothing but a phase. So phase is a defined as finite volume. Okay, and in finite volume all points or all particles of a material exist in this volume have same or constant properties. Okay, that is physical mechanical properties are known as phase. Then second, phase diagram, the graphical representation of equilibrium states of existence of this system is known as phase diagram or constitutional diagram. The phase diagram are also referred to as equilibrium diagram or constitutional diagram. Okay, so phase diagram is nothing but a graphical representation of different phases. Okay, we will see this phase diagram in detail in further classes. Then components. So we have already discussed what is components. Okay, but if I consider this example, okay, and in this example or in this container, if I poured two different material, for example aluminum and copper. Okay, so these two metals which I poured here are nothing but a components. Okay, this is my first component and this is my second components, and after this adding these components, if I melt this component and then pour and then mix it and stir it, then if I get a single product, so this single product is made from this two component aluminum and copper. Okay, so component are referred to the independent chemical species that constitute an alloy. Okay, for example aluminum and copper system, there are two component aluminum and copper, and if I consider H2O and for example NaCl, so here is also two component, first one is H2O and second component is NaCl, but there are four elements here. Okay, first one is H, then second one is O, then third one is Na, and fourth one is Cl. So number of elements are 4. Elements means which are available in modern periodic table. So elements are 4 but components are 2, H2O and NaCl. Okay, don't be confused with components and elements. Then degree of freedom. It refers to the number of independent variable associated with system. Okay, it is the number of independent variables associated with system. Okay, what are the independent variables in our engineering methodology? First is pressure, volume, temperature. Okay, and fourth one is their composition. Okay, their composition. So these are four our independent variables. Okay, next one is solid solution. So solid solution is nothing but alloy in which atoms of solute are distributed in solvent and has some structure as that of solvent. So types of solid solutions are substitutional and interstitial solid solutions. The next one, Hume-Rothery rule. So Hume-Rothery rule of solid solubility provides condition factors for formation of solid solutions and solubility limit of solvent and solute. Okay, the factors, first factor is atomic size. Okay, if the difference between atomic sizes of solute and solvent is less than 15%, then there will be a proper solid solubility, means there will be a good alloying. Next, chemical affinity. Greater the chemical affinity, more tendency to form compounds and hence less the solid solubility. Okay, then third factor is responsible for solid solubility is relative valency. A metal of higher valency can dissolve only small amount in lower valency metals. Then fourth one is crystal structure. Metals having same crystal structure will have greater solubility. So for continuous solid solubility, atomic size difference should be preferably less than 8%, with other factor favorable. Means atomic size must be less than 15%. Okay, but for continuous solid solubility it is less than 8%. Okay, and so there are four factors responsible for solid solubility. First is atomic size. So atomic size must be less than 15%. The second factor is chemical affinity. So greater chemical affinity means more tendency to form compound. So we don't need compounds. Okay, for alloy is the mixture. Okay, so we need a mixture of of two or more components, and first or at least one component must be a metal for alloy. Then third one is relative valency. Metals of higher valency can dissolve only in small amount lower valency metals. Okay, and fourth one is crystal structure. So metal having same crystal structure will have greater solubility. So these four factors must be favorable for the solid solution. Okay, so the Hume-Rothery rules tells you about solubility of solute in solvent for alloying conditions. Okay, so for alloy the Hume-Rothery rule is more important. Then examples. So you can see here I have taken example of aluminum and silica. So these are my two components. So these are two components and atomic radii is given here. So if all other factors are favorable, then if you calculate the atomic difference here. Okay, how to calculate atomic difference? So bigger atomic radii minus smaller atomic radii, okay, divided by greater atomic radii. Okay, means bigger minus smaller, then bigger and multiplied by 100 to get percentage. So here I have found out, and here a percentage atomic difference is 18%. So we know if the atomic difference is less than 15%, then it is soluble, and if it is more than 15%, it is not soluble. Hence, in this case, aluminum and silica are not soluble. Okay, we will not get an alloy. So here is your homework. You can see iron and sodium and chromium and tungsten. Okay, if other factors are favorable, then calculate what is the percentage difference, percentage atomic difference, and state here whether it is soluble or not. The next one is Gibbs phase rule. So you can see it is the phase rule. Okay, it is used to find out the number of independence variable associated with system. Okay, means what will you find here? You will find here degrees of freedom. Okay, it is used to calculate degrees of freedom. At invariant point, degrees of freedom is 0. Okay, invariant point, we will discuss what is invariant point in further classes. Don't then under equilibrium conditions, following equation must be satisfied. So it is given by Gibbs. P plus F is equal to C plus 2, where P is number of phases existing in system under consideration, F is degrees of freedom. Okay, so pressure, volume, temperature and composition already said, that are the independent variables. Okay, then C is the number of elements in the system, so it must be component, not elements. Okay, C number of components. Then plus 2, so 2 variable out of 3 variables. Okay, so it is given by Gibbs. After some experimentation, it is formulated as P plus F is equal to C plus 2. And when we kept constant pressure, this atmospheric pressure, at atmospheric pressure, this is changed from, means 2 is changed from 2 to 1. So at atmospheric pressure, the Gibbs phase rule is P plus F is equal to C plus 1. Okay, so that's it. So in this lecture we have seen the important terminologies such as phase diagram. Okay, and then we have seen and rule for solid solubility, Hume-Rothery rule and Gibbs phase rule. Okay, thanks.